Good morning.
Good morning.
So what I was going to say, Worrier, before we came on, you don't have to be a Jedi. You can just be someone who uses the Force. There are plenty of subcategories of things that use the Force that are not Jedis. The Witch is a Dathomir. I think you talked about being of the same race as Plo Koon.
The Jedi I had.
They had their own.
The Jedi used.
They had their own like thing.
They do. The Jedi I used for Extra Life was part of that, or had been part of that. So, but I kind of like went a lightly different. I'm thinking a lightly different direction, which I'm intrigued. Because I like the character, I like the idea. Like I feel like that's no shining. Wow, so sorry, Jay. Sorry about it.
Yeah,
are you wearing one? Are you wearing one? Did you get all dressed up for nothing?
I used the picture. I used a picture of us at Bania for this.
Oh, sure. That's a good picture.
It's a very good picture. My head's the size of a watermelon in it, but
Bania.
Bania.
Oh, technical issues abound.
Nothing like doing commentary in the rain while wearing electrical equipment.
Hey guys. We made these headsets out of old coat hangers.
I did get to see my. I did get.
Is there an awning? Yes, the Yerkes are under it.
I did get to reunite with my best friend Sonny Ono though.
That's true.
Mid commentary.
Yeah, Sonny Ono. He complimented me. He liked my. Speaking of jackets, he was like, "I like your." He was like,
"Dude, that guy was so cool."
He was really nice.
The times I met him, the fact that he remembered me. Like 6 months later at some fucking event where I'm doing commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we also that was a weird show.
That was a really weird show in every single possible way. Remember,
Ken Anderson and Luke Hoffman were total cocksuckers.
Is that the one where they went to unroll the canvas and it was moldy? Yeah. Yep.
Indie wrestling, baby.
Also, the one where they were like, the first match starts, and then they're like, "Why aren't you ringing the bell?" And we're like, "We were never told to ring the bell."
Job?
It's A, not our job. B, not our job. C, literally no one discussed this with us. They just had the bell at the end of the table we were sitting at.
That was the beginning of my love affair with Ken Anderson.
Your torrid love affair with Ken Anderson.
You know,
Mr. Anderson.
I wouldn't piss on that guy if he was on fire in the desert.
It's really a bummer that he never did a like Matrix thing. You know, Mr. Anderson. You know, like just.
I think it's because the Matrix wasn't fascist enough for him.
I mean, I guess, right? He's like the red pill or the blue pill. No, thank you.
Yeah, that was anyway.
That was
the nice thing about working those shows. The nice thing about working those heavy on shows, I don't mean to get like too much of this, is those were the only bad people we dealt with. Were Luke Hawx and Ken Anderson. Everyone else was fucking amazing.
But it
didn't really have to be.
No. No, they were really nice.
I can't think of the guy's name who was the Godfather in Papa Shango. But he was fucking cool as hell. Yeah, I can't remember his role. Charles Wright. He was so cool.
That's right.
Jazz was cool as fuck. Asking for Gatorade when we were actually doing commentary. It was like changing clothes beside me behind a curtain and was like, "Can I have some of your Gatorade?" There was just so many cool people we met. There he is. There's our boy.
I had to hop on and say hi. I was like listening to it while I was like doing things around the house, and we were having a heavy on thing, and you were talking about Paul White and Jazz, and I was like, I need to come on and say,
I will
Jazz was
say,
amazing.
just for everyone's knowledge, Colin will not be joining us for our Jedi games.
Okay.
Too much stress and stuff going on, so they are going to bow out. So it sounds like we've only got 3 for those games, and I'm just fine doing 3.
We had a hell of a time with 3 of us the last time we played.
If we have a 4th, that's cool as well. But I'm not going to worry about it. Also, look at this head, Matt.
Oh, damn.
What does everybody want?
Where's that from?
So yeah,
that's a head. I'll take a hard pass.
It's a Mythic Legions head, or Cosmic Legions.
It seems weird. It feels like Al Snow is the one that is weird. It feels weird that Al Snow is like the one legend we never called a match for. Like, you know, why wasn't Al Snow at any of them? Oh, but he has his own shit. He's like, I don't need to go work your weird, you know, indie
I got
shit.
my own weird indie shit.
I've got my own weird indie shit. Thanks.
Yeah, because we called NWO stuff.
We called literally an NWO reunion.
Yeah,
literally an NWO reunion.
We would have called a Great Muda match, which still breaks my fucking heart that didn't happen.
We called this Sting somehow. Like that was a really fun part of working heavy on, was like you can say things like, oh yeah, I called the match for Sting. It's fine. It's no big deal. Whatever.
It's not too shabby, yeah.
And you know, Cheeto, yeah. Oh yeah, Cheeto Santana, yeah, we go way back.
Yeah.
Actually.
It's funny
to Hammer Valentine. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that.
It's funny from going to like sitting in college and being like, oh yeah, I remember Tito Santana, like do the forearm, you know, like the flying burrito, and everybody's like, and then it's like, oh god, flying burrito. There's nothing better than like, I have taken a college joke from 15 years ago and I have directly applied it to actually calling something for it.
Also, I would be remiss if I did not mention John and Dave always treated us very well.
Yeah, they did. For sure.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Like
talent. Like we showed up, we were doing a service for them. They paid us for that service, and they made sure that we were like well equipped to do that service.
While the big name folks from out who came in, like I said, with the exception of 2 notable people, were awesome. The local folks who worked those shows were also fucking cool.
I was gonna say, even Luke Hawks was an asshole, but that was supposed to be his role.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't shitty to us outside of that. Like he was supposed to be the heel, and Ken Anderson.
I don't think we ever spoke to him outside of that.
No,
I didn't. But yeah,
yeah.
I was scared. I was like, no. He yelled at me. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Although I will say that still like remains one of my favorite moments, when Ken got up on his high horse and decided he was going to be Ken. But I can't help but thinking, I was trying to piece together the other day, which one came first, WrestleMania or the, did that come before we did the MAW show with him? It was after. The Bania thing. I wonder about that, like whether
the Bania happened first.
A real shit.
He's a shitbag. No,
I mean, like particularly because of that.
No, yeah, which is funny because I wasn't the one anywhere near the ring bell. No, I think he's. I think he's just a shitbag. So, hey, when someone spits in your face, they're a shitbag.
Yeah,
sorry,
it's true.
Especially like, again, as I've said many of times, if he would have been like, hey man, I want to do this thing and I'll come by, grab your water and spit it in your face, I'd have been like, okay. I mean, if that helps get you over, sure. Thanks for asking. But when you just do it all over our equipment and my glasses and everything else, and you're like the second match of the night, so I have to sit there with that the rest of the night. I was just fucking stewing. I was so mad.
Yeah.
I have often said about that, if that would have been 10 years prior, I would have beat him to death with the chair I was sitting on. I was so fucking mad. I was mad enough that I had a hard time making it through the rest of that show. So anyway, yeah, we had good times with those shows. We called D'Lo Brown match.
Yeah, we did.
The greatest European champion of all time.
I mean, we were dealing with the real deal then.
With the fucking real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anybody.
Sorry ass out on the street, Benjamin.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else who we were like, who was one where we were just like blown away by. Fucking Sean Waltman. Sean Waltman was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anybody else who like bigger name that we called stuff for.
I mean, I will say that Ultimo was cool as shit.
For like a 50-plus-year-old man, he could still do it all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Matt was at most of these things as well.
Some of them, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some cool shit. It was wild. We got to see like, see the local boys before they became big nationwide.
Well, and like all the people that are on like AEW, like and NWE, like Blair Onyx and Elena Black, and you know, that was cool as hell. Yeah, that's wild. Very good. Good.
It was a pretty good run.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, gang.
I only have a couple regrets. So
yeah.
Regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. But we did have fun. And we got to do cool shit.
We got to call Melissa Etheridge and Honky Tonk Man.
Oh yeah, Melissa.
Oh, fucking Honky Tonk Man was awesome.
He was awesome. I was not prepared for how amazing. I was not ready. I was ready to be like, oh, like let's just hold our noses through.
You think your body is ready for the Honky Tonk Man? Your body is not ready for Honky Tonk Man.
And that was an amazing match. That was that same show. It was Cabana, Greg Valentine, and Honky Tonk Man with Jimmy Hart, and then David Arquette, RJ City, and System.
And System, yeah.
Right?
One of these things not like the others. One of these systems does not.
Just to really like, sure, man. Okay. All right.
Like, to me, that's the thing I liked about John and Dave is they were just kind of like, yeah, this guy seems to be making a name for himself. Like he's in that vein. Like let's toss him in there and give him a rep or two, and like, you know, hopefully people are like, oh yeah, like okay, this guy's legitimate enough to be mid card, you know?
Yeah, they were very much like this guy's on the come up, so let's give him something.
Give him the rub.
You know. Hey, I mean, they did that with us, for lack of a better term. If you want to look at it that way, they were like, "Oh, we've heard things, we've heard good things, you know." And people went to bat for us as well. I don't think we want to get into that, but a certain pop, I think went to bat for us.
Yeah.
Our father, who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Our podfather, who probably would never ever admit to ever hearing anything we podcasted. I know we'll never hear this. So, that's my only regret is not calling one of his shows.
Yeah. Maybe so.
I mean, honestly, I will regret that to my dying day. So. But we got to recall some of his matches, and that last match we called with him and Corbin was amazing.
That's
it's one of my favorite matches that we ever called. Just fucking great. And we got to call some wild shit too. Riley Jackson jumping out of a balcony.
That was
no.
We were like, that was one of those weird ones where we were like doing the whole like, what's happening? But we were also like legitimately like, what
the fuck are you doing, Riley?
Like, sir.
All of the times we did shows where Dante would just show up and plug his Instagram and just be weird in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And for all my frustrations with with Boone, doing commentary with Boone is
it's very fun.
Was also very, he was very good at it too.
Yeah,
also, same thing with Stoney. I love doing commentary with Stonehenge.
Oh my god, because hilarious.
That guy is is awesome. There were people that we met who I honestly do like miss just bullshitting with. I totally would, and Tom doesn't live that far away, but if Tom was like, we should get together and talk music, I would be like in a fucking heartbeat. Like I'll send him things occasionally and he'll send me things music wise because we have very similar tastes. I still want Tom, if you ever see this, you need to get a fucking Church of the Cosmic Skull style cape and wear it to everything ever. We talked about it. I know it doesn't fit your Pantera aesthetic, but you need a fucking cape.
Your Pantera aesthetic.
That's beautiful. All right, homies. Well, I'm going over to my mother's for some crafting time with Grandma Kathy and the doggo. So I could not resist the opportunity. I know we're playing together tomorrow, Worrier, but I couldn't resist getting the band back together.
Yeah.
Just for a couple minutes.
Tell Kathy Wheeler that I miss her.
I will. I will.
And
all right.
Hug the dog for me.
Enjoy your
So Worrier, I've pitched this a few times, but I don't think I've ever pitched it to you. What would you say if I said if I wanted to do heel turn again? But I don't want to spell it H-E-E-L. I want to spell it H-E-A-L.
Okay, well, I like that conceptually. I mean,
and I want to have like it cut up into segments of shit that we'd always talked about doing and never did. So we'd have like a short wrestling segment, but then like James and I talked for a long time about doing a series called I've got a bad feeling about Boldly Going, where we would watch an episode of Clone Wars and then we watch an episode of Deep Space Nine and then talk about them. I want to do that, but I want to do everything on a timer so we can only talk until the timer is up. And then we have to switch to the other thing so we don't go full-blown digression.
We would be so bad at that.
I love it. I love the idea of us going, so like if I want to get like the band together to do this like once a month and just and like because I do want to talk about oh god, it would we anti-prep school. It'd be the Bizarro of prep school. I would want to like get the band back together and like do this once a month and just like have that kind of fun because I know that commentary got to a point where for you especially you were like, this isn't fun. Hey Chucky, this isn't fun anymore, and you were like,
fun anymore.
You're like, I'm out. Which was good for you, but also like sad because you were so good at it. But it's not, you were not the one, you were not the one who was wrong. The kids were wrong. The children were wrong because they made it not fun anymore. Certain parties really made that turn sour. But I would like to get together to talk about
that. Yeah, which is weird because one of the like fundamental tenets of wrestling is don't you dare be sour. Like,
unless
it's right there.
Unless you're going to be sweet and sour.
They were not.
Because then you're going to be the text.
They were not. They forgot the sweet part.
Then and only then you can be the Texarkana IWCA television champion. I can't remember all the acronyms that go into that old Larry Sweeney title, but it was something like that. I don't just remember it was the Texarkana. Anyway, Worrier. So tell us about your Star War.
So the thing about
you're like, how dare you switch gears so drastically, you dick.
How dare you get us on point 20 minutes into this? You asshole. You piece of shit. No, so one of the things about the Jedi that I played at Extra Life, there were a couple of things that didn't fully hit. That's probably true. One of them was that.
Yeah, I just saw this. I'm sorry.
I'm reading this. So
this is amazing. This is fucking indie wrestling. Is what it is.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's some fucking shit. Like if that ever happened at a show we were at, James would have fucking threw a rod. He would have lost his fucking mind.
Not to further derail, but I do remember like when shows were just starting to come back after, lockdown and everything, there was a post I saw on Twitter and it was, you can tell Indie Lucha is back because somebody's entrance screen is the Windows start menu. It was literally somebody just walking out underneath the
that's so
desktop.
Good. That's some 7-star level shit right there. I can't remember. Did you ever go to 7-star with us?
I didn't. That was
you were
7-star. 7-star happened. 7-star happened before we knew each other exactly. So like, because there was, my experience with 7. My experience with, but remember, my experience with 7-star is that we before we did our first show, we like assigned ourselves to like I still have that. Was oh shit. We were like, yeah, this is what we'll cut our teeth on, is this 7-star show in the weird church that thought wrestling was satanic or whatever. And
God, I almost forgot about that.
And because like when it hit, I think when it hit intermission, you were James were telling the story about like the people came out and like proselytized and were
they got real mad about like, do we need to take our shoes off in the ring because we don't want to upset you're wrestling. And it was just like, what? Apparently too, they like had told Earl that they needed to calm the shows down because the show before that I didn't go to, I can't remember who Tommaso Ciampa wrestled, but they were all around the building just wrecking the fucking shop. Like Randy, I think Beard went to that show, but I know Randy and Nate went to it, and they were like, it was fucking awesome because it was Tommaso Ciampa right before he signed, or not before he signed, right before they did like the Cruiserweight Classic. And
sure.
I can't remember who he was wrestling, but it was like they just tore the fucking building apart, which is just fantastic. Yeah, 7-star is also a fond memory, but not as fond as when we would go to the oh god, it wasn't the VFW, it was the because Chris Jordan would always say, no, we don't get into that foreign war stuff. We stay at the American Legion. Yeah. Hey, we can't. He's like, we're not doing that foreign war shit because it gets controversial. The American Legion and Chanhassen. I can't even remember what the name of that group is anymore. That's how long it's been.
MIW.
Yeah.
That's where we all started hanging out with Worrier.
That was the show where we kept standing up. We turned our back on. Yeah, that was some like dedicated.
That was what it reminded me of is when in high school when we would play home games for like my junior, I think they did it the first half of the season before the state changed the rules, is the crowd would get up and they would turn their back to the opposing team's entrance stuff and they would hold newspapers and shake them. And it would be so fucking loud. you'd see the entire like packed area of the fans, and it was just of the student section, and it was the most disrespectful shit. It was so good. So yeah, I don't remember who came up with the idea of we should turn our backs whenever certain people come out. I loved that when we were going to those shows, we fucking owned those shows.
Yeah
And we only had like 10 15 people, and we owned those shows. Just like we owned those Ring of Honor shows as well.
I think
you guys were bananas at the Ring of Honor shows. I remember Miss JL and I went to one of them, and it was before we knew you. I think it was the one where where Dalton Castle was there with the boys and all of, I think that was that one. It might have been the one before that. It was out in Hopkins, and we didn't like. I had no idea who you were, and you guys were we were like on the same side of the ring, but you were way off. Yeah. We were like opposite sides of the same side of the ring, and we the whole show we were like looking at each other. We're like, who are these assholes? So fucking loud. Like, what the
and it was always us, and it was always us and the Loose Rups radio guys from Winnipeg would come down, and we would take over a corner. We would take over a corner of the front row, and we would just go. What we would make signs for, like we'd have like 30 signs.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
I'm sure it was. Just, we were just like.
I'm pretty sure you were the guys at one of those early MIW shows that Danny and I went to when we first started like going to shows locally. And she didn't know anything about wrestling, and I just knew what I picked up through reading stuff online. And I'm positive that you were the guys I used to define smarks to her. Like I pointed over, I'm like, those are smarks.
Yes. I mean, MIW, it's hard not to be a smark because we were because we were friends with Pete.
Yeah.
And then we eventually became friends with Chris over that. I mean, Pete would like invite James and I to be on his video promos on the internet. And the one time, like he did that promo, and I'm like wiping tears with the American flag behind him as he's giving the presidential address after a show. And Pete was just so good to us. And then after that, like Chris was like, "Oh, you guys are cool." So then we would go to eat at Perkins afterwards, and Chris would show up, and then he would sit with us and ask us about the show. Like, what did we like? What did we not like? I always remember the time that he came over to sit with us. I don't know if you were. I think you might have been there for this one, Warrior. And it started off with Beard going, "Well, Chris, it was the same show we saw like 2 months ago," and Chris got up, took his plate, got up, and walked away. He was so pissed. He was like, because Beard was right too. It was literally the same show, and later on, like I talked to him, and he was just like, I was more annoyed than I was pissed because I did not get to do that. Oh, Draz.
Draz.
So yeah, I always remember that too. Is like the first time we like started talking to Chris, we were driving home, and this minivan comes flying up beside us on the highway, and the window rolls down, and Chris Jordan pops out, no shirt on, and is flexing at us. And I was like, is that Chris Jordan? And then he messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Guns." That's all he said was "guns." And I was like, "Oh shit, it was Chris Jordan." And then we felt, and then we discussed our love of Lucha Libre together.
Yeah. So just to properly set the scene for anyone who is not in the Midwest, a minivan flying by you on the freeway is not an uncommon sight in the Midwest. It's very common. Like it's the most fearsome and terrorizing vehicles on the highway are typically minivans,
especially
in the Midwest, because like
oh god.
Because at first, especially when you like are first in the Midwest, like you're like, why is there a minivan? Because like what even? I'm from the West Coast. Like minivans died like 20 years ago. Like there's no minivans. What are you doing? And then you're like, this minivan is gonna like Mad Max me off the road.
I'm from the Midwest, and let me tell you, Warrior, I'm minivan born and minivan bred. When I die, I'll be minivan dead. I had a minivan, like
I mean,
when
no, like
when
I
moved to the city. I had was it an Astrostar van for a while?
Aerostar, yeah, probably. Those were that's like the one that like definitely is around a lot. I mean, my parents had a minivan when I was a kid. Like, I mean, and then they stopped having one because the Pontiac.
Also,
nice.
Oh shit! I missed this too.
We touched on it.
Yeah, we touched the Star Wars. Anyway, getting back to Star Wars.
Oh sure. Buzzkill.
I love that. Yeah, we're like so disappointed. He's like, oh god damn it! Can we just talk about the shitty stuff? Can we talk about our smarky background? Which is funny.
Can we talk about ourselves? Can't we talk about ourselves some more?
I will also say, if you ever want to go back and listen to some good stuff, also from that same perspective, the Rainbow Beach and Only Draz had a great podcast too. Mark. And that's actually where we met them, through their stuff.
Yeah, so, it was great. Also, if you really just wanted to double dip, since we're just rolling around in our own aroma, I think as King likes to say, I'm on an episode, so along with Russell Rogue. So there you go. You have it all.
I don't know if they recorded their convergence things that they did, but I basically smarked my way into that whole thing too. Sitting in the back row and being loud. Yeah, Mary Marks.
Yeah, Mary Marks.
Ooh, coming back.
Smarks always sounds like a weird, like off-brand of the Smurfs to me. It's like it's just one of those like terms, like it just doesn't sound real. Like Smarks, it's like the Duplo of Smurfs. You really, Duplo, sure. That's it's fine. If people were like, what if Legos weren't nimble at all? What if they were just big fucking like loafs?
I am convinced that Duplo are a psyop that was made so parents would not have to hurt themselves so much with tiny Legos when they step on them.
I mean, maybe.
It's a psyop.
It's like the Betamax of Lego. It's just like
the sad part about Betamax is a better fucking format.
No, there's a very good Paul F. Tompkins stand-up bit where he has a special called, I think it's called Laboring Under Delusion, and it's all about jobs that he had, and I won't Duplo. Like your grandma being like, I'll be getting an album for my child. Well, what's that DJ you like? Duplo? No, it's Duplo, Grandma.
My grandma had a tiny box, like this big of Lego, and she.
Your grandma has a tiny box.
She's dead. We can talk about it if you want. But she had a giant tub of Lincoln Logs.
Oh, Lincoln Logs. Yeah. I remember Lincoln Logs. Lincoln Logs were cool. They smelled good, if I remember right. They smelled good. But they were wood. They're just sticks. They're just
sticks. Just like fancy sticks. Exactly right.
Just fucking sticks. But yeah, I liked Lincoln Logs. They were fun.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the idea behind Duplos. It's for younger kids, but whatever. You can hate on them. I don't care.
I don't hate on them. Like I said, I think
Beta didn't succeed is because they didn't want porn on their stuff. I've seen something like that, where it was like, we're not gonna let like officially licensed pornography, and VHS is like, we don't give a shit, and so VHS won.
I mean, that's probably like that seems very viable in the 80s, especially.
I may be full of shit, but
Also, Thrilling Adventure Hour is amazing. All of them, all the
It is
series
very
from
fun.
that.
Yeah, I'm a huge Paul Tompkins fan. But anyway, Laboring Under Delusions is very funny all the way through. But there is a segment where he grew up in Philly. He used to work at a video store that only sold Betamax, and the bit is very funny. I recommend.
That's like if you worked at a store that only sold Laserdisc.
Yeah. Yeah.
They only do Laserdiscs and god dang it, my brain just. What's the cartridges that came at the same time as cassettes?
8-tracks. No.
8-tracks, yeah.
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 8-tracks. 8-tracks always seemed cool. But I think that's like a weird childhood imprint thing, because I feel like to me 8-track tapes look a lot like the old Atari cartridges.
They do.
But like bigger. Like if like the Duplo version of an Atari cartridge.
I feel like there was I heard a story about a guy when I worked at Savers that there was a guy who would come in and just buy all the 8-tracks whenever they showed up, because they were all like a quarter or whatever, or he'd go to garage sales, and he'd use them to shoot skeet with because it was cheaper than clays.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. That's fantastic.
I don't know if they would fly very well.
Never mind. My brain is like all over the place. I just had my coffee with espresso, which I never do, but I was up at 5:45 this morning. So I only got like 5 hours of sleep, so I'm a little like space cadet. So my brain is running 800 miles a minute, just like thoughts and images. So I'm smelling colors and tasting sound right now. So let's get back to
sure. Let's definitely talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about. I feel like it's almost like we're being forced to eat a vegetable we don't like as a child, but it's like, so you can have some more of the food you like, but you can take one spoonful of the stuff you don't.
Can't end the stream until you talk about Star Wars.
So tell me more about your
so the things that didn't work for me about the other character was too sort of like a solemn vibe, and then also like a little too lore dependent. Like I can't underscore enough that like I do not know anything about Star Wars.
Yeah, which is crazy because you're in a group of people who are deep cut Star Wars fans.
I have watched all 9 of the movies, even the last one, and I've watched I think I've watched all of the movies. I saw Solo, I saw Rogue One, I saw, were there other ones? I don't know. They're fine. 10 movies. Like, are we counting the Christmas special? I don't know. I don't know.
Christmas special.
Yeah, I think it's 11.
11 movies total. With Solo and Rogue One.
And then Solo and Rogue One.
Okay, I have seen that, and that is
animation.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, like when I was a kid, like I was very into all of. I was a kid in the '80s. Like there was like an Ewok cartoon. I'm sure I watched the fuck out of
There was a Droids cartoon with a kick-ass theme song that was done by one of the members.
I probably watched that. But like when you get into like,
who sang that, Matt?
Who's saying what?
The Droids theme song?
Oh, I don't know.
It was one of the members of the police.
Really?
Yeah, they did the theme song for the Droids.
Sting?
No, it wasn't Sting. It was one of the other two guys.
A lesser police.
It's a great song.
It's like, hey, cool. Hey, guys, we've got a great theme song by one of the guys from Wham, not George Michael.
Yeah.
Like, cool, great.
It was called In Trouble Again. It's only like a minute.
So it was written and sung by Stuart Copeland.
Yeah, Stuart Copeland did it. It's great.
And Derek Holt of the Climax Blues Band also co-wrote.
Derek Holt.
That's just like fucking NXT name. That's an NXT name.
Derek Holt is absolutely NXT. It probably is.
Yeah.
Like, probably. It's definitely appeared on a WWE Chiron. Like if it was like one of the local talent people, you know, like it's been up there for sure. Derek Holt, absolutely. So anyway, I don't know, like, but you know, when you talk about like Clone Wars and like all the shows and the books and the lore, like I don't know it. So I need to play a character with a bit more of like a vibe and like it's a little bit like how when I started playing D&D, I intentionally played stupid characters because I was like, I don't know anything about D&D. So like I'm gonna play someone who doesn't know all the D&D shit. And so like, and it was just like an easy in that way for me. So like I think that's a little like not stupid, but like that's more the vibe. So like what I was thinking is I like the idea of a non-Jedi. I don't want to wear robes. Robes are stupid. You know, I kind of like the sort of you know, force sensitive, but like, you know, doing his own thing kind of vibe. So I was looking through the thing you posted about the non-Jedi options. And I like Rogue One a lot. So I was thinking of going. Kenna didn't wear robes and he was dope. Sounds dope.
Yeah.
He was like, fuck these robes.
Yeah, that's all thing you gotta remember. I don't think Worrier has any idea who Kanan Jarrus is. He's like, what?
And
I was like,
he was in hiding.
Like Kanan and Kel, like Welcome to Good Burger. Like, no. Like,
also, Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn. Yeah, he was voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. He was in Rebels.
Bless you. Okay.
Also, Kyle Katarn, no robes. Kyle Katarn, no robes.
I see. It's great because like I'm like trying to be on task, and now we've segued into like 10 best Jedi who didn't wear robes.
yeah.
Which is dope. I love it.
The guys who used to do Tighten Up the Defense, they ended that podcast. The two like stepbrothers who did that show. If anyone doesn't know, that was a great podcast. You should go back and listen to it. They would do one Teen Titans issue and then one issue of the Defenders. They're now doing a show called Champions of Digression, and they just do it. They're like, just pick a comic because they always go off on fucking tangents. It's
sure.
Yeah, like that show. Their podcasts rule. They're so good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they especially like them doing the Bob Haney era Teen Titans stuff was hilarious because that show started off as Teen Titan Wasteland and then became Tighten Up the Defense when they went to the we do every other as the other thing. So yeah,
Defense. That's amazing.
It's like if you like those old comics, they're great. And one of the things they do is like they would go into the thing after they talk about the comic, they would go into like what they had these like mini segments, like, and then at the end they would say who's your best, you know. So for Teen Titans, they would say who is your best Teen Titan of the issue, so AKA your Aqualad, and who is the worst Teen Titan of the issue, which originally was Speedy, but eventually became Danny fucking Chase because they hated Danny Chase. And then for Defenders, they had an entirely different set of standards. And one was like, what was your favorite line from the comic that would be unto a pie made of stone? Because there's an issue where the Hulk says something about a pie made of stone. So they would pick out lines that were like, you have to pick out your favorite lines, and that's the name of your band, and you had to describe the band, and they had to do at least 3. And then if they both picked the same word or line, then they would put up polls every week of like, who is the band that was from last week who won against the new band. And it was, I don't know. I'm talking about a podcast that should we talk about Star Wars? I'm sorry.
It's fine.
This is what happens when I have a lot
It's
of
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm sorry. You were saying Worrier?
I'm sure I was. So I was thinking of going like Guardians of the Wills vibe with but like, you know, sort of a like not practicing, you know, like because there was the character in Rogue One who had like departed, and you know, like different. I think the character has a different vibe, but I sort of like that. I like that as a like cornerstone. And so I was thinking I would go really weird for myself and be a human. Because like there are humans in Star Wars. This is the level of like Star Wars I have. I'm like, they're called humans, right? Like in Star Wars. Okay.
It's weird.
So there's humans and near humans, and then there's like the Corellians and all those other like we're kind of human, but we see near humans.
It's a thing where I'm like, you know, I'm like, I would be like, oh yeah, Han Solo is a human, and then people would be like, actually, and I'd be like, okay, like I don't know, whatever.
Han Solo's Corellian.
Yeah.
So
it's like
I just got real like. Did you see me go like? Actually,
is he different than a human? Well, how is he different than a human? Other than it's like,
sure,
you know, it's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're like Luke Skywalker's like a human.
So you could do,
whatever.
Excuse me. Look,
a human.
You could do near human Warrior and just be like, oh, I'm basically human, but I have like green skin. Near human is like.
No, I want to be like a dude. The point is that he's kind of like a dude. He is a human. I'm just
gonna assume that humans in Star Wars come from the planet Humanelia.
For sure.
Because if Han Solo isn't human and Corellian is somehow
Corellian. He's Corellian, Matt. Corellians are different. I don't know why, because George was too busy talking about jizz that I couldn't ask. And Colin's not here, so I can't.
What a dumb retcon, by the way. Stupid, like worthless. Like, why bother? Are you kidding me?
Jizz?
Yeah, they don't call it anymore. They call it something. They officially
it's dumb.
Jack.
It'll never be. It'll be jizz forever.
Filthier, honestly.
Jizz forever.
Jet sounds filthier than jizz.
Jets does sound.
I do want a shirt with the Cantina band on it that just says "Jizz Forever" on it.
But I'm sure some variation of that exists. Definitely.
If not, I will make you one.
Oh fuck yeah, Matt. Oh fuck.
Who's Jesus?
Jesus.
Oh god damn it! I'm literally so caffeinated right now. I'm warm and shaky. Look how red my face is. Okay, go ahead.
Human.
You're like Howard Dean right now. That's a good reference.
Yeah, I was going to say I've turned into Howard Dean.
That's it.
If someone wants to turn that into a joke, I will be happy.
Isn't it wild that like that was disqualifying as presidential candidate in this millennium? Like, is that wild? Isn't it wild that that's all it took was some guy, like a white guy, getting excited and being like, we're going to take Delaware. And they're like, sorry, you can't be president.
Yeah, you don't.
Gary Hart right now sitting in a room somewhere going, what the fuck, man?
Before his time.
Yeah.
Ahead of his
Gary
time.
Trendsetter, Republican trendsetter. He's like, I was the wrong time.
Ahead of his time. Is he still alive? I feel like he should be dead.
I mean, I feel like a lot of politicians should be dead.
Well, that's true. But I remember the weirdest thing, saying Gary Hart like unlocked a sort of in that, like, because when I was a kid, I read a lot of like Mad Magazine, and they talked about Gary Hart a lot, and so I have this vague knowledge of like kind of who he is, you know. But it's like that weird thing when you're like a kid, like I don't know who the fuck Gary. Okay, this is a fun Gary Hart joke.
We were talking about this yesterday. this very thing of like Mystery Science Theater, watching it when you're younger, or for my case, watching it when you're not in this region and they're making certain jokes and you're like, I'm laughing, but I don't really understand the joke. And then you get older or you move to Minnesota, Wisconsin, and you're like, oh shit, that's what they were talking about. I get it now.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same thing with like Gary Hart. You get older and you're like, oh, that's whoa, okay.
Yeah. It's like then there's that like transition where you're like, that's weird. It's weird that like thing was talking, and it was like, no, that was just topical like late night humor of that era. It's the same shit that they're doing now with, Amy, it's like that weird, it's becoming an adult. It's weird. So anyway, so like so he like I was thinking a sort of Guardian of the Wills vibe. I like the what's the thing that they have? They make it. It's the stick, the force bow ? Like
I can't remember.
I don't remember. But I kind of like the idea because I was looking through the various archetypes of characters that there are, and if I remember right, Beard and Nate are both Guardians. Is that feels right?
I think so. I think they're both Guardians, but they are kind of going in a different route with what they're doing for a Guardian role.
Okay.
Let me grab the rules here really quick so I can keep going though.
So
tell me more about your Star Wars.
So thinking about that, I was like, I don't want to be the same like archetype. I want to like I mean that's like a thing I always like doing in role playing games anyways. Like, where's the gap? Let me fill that in. Let me just let me get in there and do that. And so I was looking at adepts, but I also like the weird thing about these these characters is they don't really describe what that is. They're like, you're an adept, and I'm like, cool. And it seems to me it feels more support-y, healer-y than like,
But that's the thing with PBTA games is they work really hard to not stick you in.
Yeah. It's it's not for me, it's less like what can this character do mechanically, and it's more like what is an adept? Like, what does that mean? What does that vibe? Like, like Guardian makes sense, Sentinel kind of makes sense. Consular sounds like something I'm not interested in, and so it's like adept, and so it's more of a like what's the vibe, and yeah.
I think the adept, when I think of the adept, I think of someone who, like you were saying, it's not maybe classically trained, like wasn't a Jedi, wasn't a Sith, was far more like, I look at like the Witches of Dathomir, like they have like a litany and all that. An adept would be someone who is like just knows what they know. So they're not as like refined in what they're doing. So yeah, I try to like remember with and Shanna's making perfect sense here. With the fact that, as they're pointing out, is I always think of adept as like not having that stringent structure that like even someone who practices like Terrace Kasai would have. That requires discipline and all that. To practice the Star Wars martial arts thing that is kind of force driven. Whereas, an adept is kind of like, I am just naturally good at this. Like, I'm special, but I don't know how.
Perfect. That sounds exactly. Yeah. And that's like what I'm always talking with. Like anytime I'm talking about building a character stuff, it's always like vibe and story stuff. Like I think James is
a Sentinel because James loves the whole telekinesis thing.
Sure. Because I'm like, even in D&D, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play a sorcerer anyway. My biggest stat is Constitution. Like that's like it's always my vibe. So like it's fine. So okay, Adept sounds cool. That sounds great.
So let me throw something at you, because they're going to end up coming to this is where I'm gonna give away a big
spoiler.
Nate and James are going to basically get railroaded into jumping to where Jarek was, his last jump point before he came to the Temple of the Dawn, which is in the unknown regions, and they're gonna come to this planet, and this planet is going to be like a refuge for the surviving. There's like just 6 of them on the planet, and I will not lord them too hard on you right here, Warrior. The Rakata were the like first like big empire in Star Wars, hundreds of thousands of years ago, and they were shitbags. They were slavers. They could, their hyperdrive technology came from their ability to use the Force. God damn it, Warrior. I mean, they practiced cannibalism. They were just rough. They kind of have weird like cone heads with their eyes to the side. So yeah, nice. They ended up getting a plague that killed a lot of them, but it also took away their ability to use the Force. Okay. So wherever like they were at, they couldn't leave because they couldn't use the Force to activate their hyperdrives. So they were out in this area in the unknown regions with all their slaves, and they got stuck. And eventually they kind of reverted to like more of a barbarism to have who's the top dog. So there's only like 7 of them left on this planet. But there's the races that were there that they took as slaves now, like have control of this area. So one of the things is like, just because they can't use the Force doesn't mean they don't understand it. Sure. So one of the things I wanted to have the PCs run into was a Rakata who just like basically, I'm saying that there were these like 7 Rakata on the planet don't even have names anymore. They're just referred to by titles. And one of them kind of, I wanted to take the, what was it? The Pai Mei kind of archetype, like the goatee swirling, Kung Fu master, who's got like students. And one of the reasons why is because they are also trying to, in a devious way, reconnect with the Force. And that could be the thing. It's like you're one of the few humans that was part of that slave retinue hundreds of thousands of years ago. You're an ancestor of that group living on a planet where you're extremely in the minority, but like you're special. So the PCs can show up and because when they get there, one of the things they're going to
you're also going to be completely separate from everything else in the universe, so you don't have to know shit about Star Wars.
All you'd have to know is you live among a few other races. The Nogri, which are these like short, very muscular, kind of reptile-y looking dudes. The Kumungai, which were the race that the Jawas became.
Delicious.
They were like pre-Jawas. And the Selkath, who live aquatically, and the Zeltron. And the Zeltron are the primary race on the planet, who are like these pink, reddish-skinned humans, who the biggest thing different about them is they are super hedonists because they feed on emotion. So happy emotions like make them happy. So they go out of the way to do everything they can to be happy. So they are very much hedonists. And one of the reasons when they rise up to get rid of the Rakatas who slaved them, I'm just gonna say Rakatans. I guess it's Rakata, but I'm gonna say Rakatans. The Rakatans that slaved them is because the Rakatans would use would feed off the misery of others to empower their Force. So they're like, oh no, we're fucking getting rid of these assholes. So they fought like a big war, 100,000 years ago.
Sure.
So anyway, you don't have to know much about that. Then here's the races on the planet. You're in a very super minority, and you were seen as a potential student for this Pai Mei-esque ricotta.
Sure.
Or cotton.
And
so if you want to do that, but you don't have to. You can also just be like, yeah.
I think that's interesting. I think that like I like that.
Are you about to hit us with? I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I'm not going to hit you with the. I don't want to be disrespectful.
No offense.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're so stupid. No, just
yeah.
I've actually got a guys. This has been fabulous, but I've got places to be. So,
okay.
Matthew, thank you.
Hi, Matt.
Yes,
tell
of course.
Danny I
Have
said
fun.
hi.
Yes, everybody.
Bye, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Gary Marks, Shaggy's, Super Spike. You're great. I'll catch you all later. Bye.
Bye. And then there were two. So what I was thinking, I think that works for me as a current situation.
Just like here's where you start off at. You can do whatever.
Yeah, totally into that. The vibe I was thinking is for the character is a little bit like a little bit Lando-y, a little bit like he's sort of a like lightly a sort of like Lothario. He's sort of fast and loose. He's sort of a like,
and that fits perfect for a planet full of Zeltron.
Yeah,
because they're like, to them, like monogamy is not a thing because they're like, well, why would I do that? Like just kind of following that hedonistic urge is like their thing. That's why they do wild stuff all the time because you'll see Zeltron who become pirates not because they want to steal money, but because like, you know what would be really fun? let's break into the ship.
Totally. So like kind of like if he were part of like the original trilogy, like he would have been played by Burt Reynolds. Is like the vibe.
Shit,
so like I totally can see him like I crashed my ship here, whoops, and like then I got like I was in like hedonism bot world.
Would you prefer like you crash there, or would you prefer you're from there?
I'd prefer that he crashed there. I like that he crashed there. I think he's been. I kind of like the vibe of less of a like I don't know anything about anything, and I like more the vibe of like my references to the state of the galaxy are dusty at best. Like I've been here for a while. I don't know. He doesn't know about Order 66. He doesn't know about, some of the,
what
like
if
he's been on this planet for like a few years, but like,
okay.
But so like he's been around.
Part of like maybe you're part of a survey team and they crash there.
Sure.
And the ship is not salvageable. So you've just been stuck there. So that makes a lot. I like the idea. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, and you've been on your survey team's been out for so long. A lot like we said with Jarek. Jarek had no idea about Order 66 because he'd been out out there doing his like studies for like 20 years. Like he left and just like he'd been out there for so long. He had like, stuff happened while I was gone. Can be the same thing.
Jarek is the one who was on the planet that
he's the one who showed up. He was the Jedi who like ended up going with the Imperials. He was who's the Miralin, so he has like no eyes. He just wears a thing over his eyes. And he's the main antagonist in the Dark Forces games. So that's where we kind of get the Inquisitors from, is those sweet FMV scenes from those old games from the 90s. Also where we get Kyle Katarn, one of my favorite, kind of a himbo Jedi who started off as a stormtrooper and becomes a Jedi. Yeah, I like Kyle Katarn. Sorry.
Oh,
I know they haven't officially made him canon. I know they haven't officially made him canon, and some people probably are like, really? But I love Kyle Katarn. Also very much like Dash Rendar. Also not currently canon, but should be. Both from video games.
Look, video games are fine.
Dash Rendar is from Shadows of the Empire, and he was basically like, "Oh, we can't. This game is set between Empire and Jedi, so we can't use Han Solo." And they were like, "Yeah." Lucasfilm's like, "Yeah, okay, we'll just make a shittier Han Solo. We'll make a more scoundrel-esque Han Solo."
Yeah,
that's Dash Rendar, a guy who fakes his death at the end of the game so he does not have to get involved in any more of the shit that goes on.
Love that. Into it.
Yeah, I love that. I've always loved that as well. He's like, man, fuck Luke Skywalker. All you guys got me into is a bunch of fucking problems. So time to fake my death.
I'm the fake my death. Yeah, into it. That sounds incredibly stupid, and I'm here for it.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, Star Wars should be fun.
Star
Wars. I love Rogue One.
Star Wars should be fun. Like
I do. I love Rogue One, but I really do. And I love like Andor and things that are a little less fun, a little more serious. But I also like when they still have those moments in there where you're like, okay, yeah, this is Star Wars. Like I look at it on the spectrum of like Solo, which is just like all like wild ass fun stuff.
Yeah.
Which I unapologetically love that movie.
I enjoyed Solo.
I know.
It was like it was a great
vibe.
It was fun. I watched it on a plane.
Yeah,
that's where you should watch it.
You've got the other end, which is like Rogue One, and you've got Andor, and where you're just like, oh, this is like a little more serious. The current couple seasons of Bad Batch, where hey, I know there's only a couple episodes left of the whole series. I don't think they're all gonna survive. I think the body count will be fucking significant. I like that too, but I like, I mean, for people who love like Star Wars, I always tell people like Rebels. Rebels is like classic Star Wars. It's very much like there's some stuff that happens, as far as like there's some fucked up stuff that you're like, oh, that's kind of serious. I mean, Darth Vader cuts the heads off 2 Imperials who fail, like in an office at the end of the season. He just shows up and they're introduced and he just slices their heads off because they fucked up for a whole season. But it's also got real fun stuff, Yeah, Rebels is great. I mean, you got Chopper, a droid who hates everyone. He is mean as fuck to everyone. Chopper is the ultimate shitbag droid. He's a 5-year-old with a laser gun. He's a war criminal. He totally is. Chopper's one of my favorite Star Wars characters because he is a complete asshole all the time, except for maybe Hera. He is a complete fuckbag of a droid. It's great.
That's funny. It's 5-year-old with a laser gun is like my Down and Outlands character.
Yeah, it is. Like, just watch a like compilation of Chopper, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this is sort of Monty. It's like slightly Monty, except for Chopper's probably way meaner than Monty. Monty's
I'm sure. Yeah, but if someone were like, describe your character in one sentence, like 5-year-old, done.
Yeah.
So, although technically he hasn't had a laser gun, but Echo has.
Yeah. Chopper has the highest death count in Star Wars.
Wow.
Canonically, yeah. Chopper is wild. Like, I do enjoy Chopper. That's pretty great. That's amazing. But yeah, like I getting back to your point, I think having kind of like that Burt Reynolds-esque, is it Burt Reynolds in like Gator, or is it Burt Reynolds in like Cannonball Run?
I'm gonna say kind of. I've never seen Gator, so I'm not. Go
or Sharky's Machine. Sharky's Machine, which I've never actually seen, but I only know it from Venture Brothers references.
It's like Machine. Yeah, I mean, he's not like, yeah, I mean, like, he's a you know, like, yeah, he's sort of just, it's hard to describe. Like, you'll see when but like, he's sort of like,
Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit is a good, somewhere between Smokey and the Bandit and like the Bearskin Rug is where this character lives, and like he is, like he's not exactly like sleepy.
Brock's got Phantom Spaceman in a pretzel hold. Oh. Oh God, I love that episode of Venture Brothers. Phantom Spaceman. Yeah. Sorry.
It's
I don't know if were you a Venture Brothers person?
I watched a little bit of Venture Brothers, but not a lot of Venture Brothers.
Okay. Are you familiar with all this and what is it? All this in Gargantua 2 is the name of the episode where they go to the space station?
No.
With Bud Manstrong. The American representative on the space station is a guy named Bud Manstrong. And there's a Russian female agent up there, or Russian female Russian cosmonaut up there named oh God, I think her last name is Baldovich. So it is one of the best episodes. Yeah, but the whole thing is like they talk about Phantom Spaceman being up there, but there's a whole backstory about that. This is where they killed Jonas Venture Jr. or Jonas Venture. They lured everybody into the area to watch a movie, and the movie that night was Sharky's Machine, and that they opened the airlocks. So yeah, it's one of my, and they keep bringing up Sharky's Machine and the whole Gargantua 2 like mass murder. And then you find out, like in the last season, that like the guys who went on the space station to kill Jonas Jr., the supervillains who came to kill him, they didn't end up killing him. Someone else did the whole thing with the airlock. Because they're telling this to Brock when they're all eating at a diner. And Brock has this look on his face where he's like, but that's like the whole thing that started the Pyramid Wars and started like all these people. I killed all these people based upon this fact. And one of the, I can't remember, there's a guy who's got two heads. It was two villains. And to save them both, they put their heads on one body. So it's kind of the whole, they just argue all the time, like dithering old man. Says, oh, do you see that look on that man's face? That's a look on a man's face who realizes his entire life is a lie. And it's just Brock, like, it's great. So yeah, sorry.
No, I love
Venture Brothers is amazing.
I like what I saw.
It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Stampede Grawl wants us to do stuff. Yeah, no, thank you. But like, I'm just real. Like exposing. Yeah, this sounds so
very real and compelling.
Hell yeah. All right. So we think we got a good idea. Yeah. So it sounds like we've got a backstory. You just need to put your character together then.
Yeah. And I mean, in putting the characters together it's pretty simple here.
It is. It is pretty simple. Did you have a particular style of build you were looking at then? Like, were you looking at it and saying, hey, do you have like with D&D, you can make some adjustments where you can, like you said, I'm a sorcerer, but my main stat is Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Also, Worrier, give us the guns again. Holy shit! Look at them guns. I didn't know I got 2 tickets to the gun show.
I'm so
hell yeah, Worrier.
It's weird with working out. For Christmas, I got like an adjustable weight set, but like a not very expensive one, and it's terrible. It's terrible. Like I've been still working out, like, but like in a different way. And I was like, I switched to like dumbbells because I was like, this is easier. I can do different stuff, and like it. And then I was like, this isn't working. Like I'm losing definition. Like I'm not looking inside. Like they feel terrible. They're kind of clunky. And so I switched to using just my kettlebell, which weighs at least 5 or 10 pounds less than what I've been using on the dumbbell. And then like in like a week, I'm like, oh, like definition is returning. Like these are like these are just shitty fucking dumbbells. So anyway, I'm in the market for it.
I think that the biggest difference the biggest difference I find with that stuff is and this is more speaking from past experience and not current, is when you're using like free weights, is free weights, even going from dumb barbells to a lot of free weight exercises, they're built to isolate muscle. The only difference is like when you're using, and I was never a high rep lightweight guy. I was always like big weights, low repetition. Like I was trying to get big, not get cut up. Was, with the exception of like large lower body exercises like squats and things like that, or full body motion exercises like clean and jerk and stuff like that. If I'm doing curls, I'm primarily just isolating like 2 muscle groups. If I'm doing, tricep work, it's not like I'm doing a lot of other stuff at that same time. Kettlebell's awesome because you get a lot of stuff at one time.
That's true.
And at the same time, there's actually a tiny bit of cardio involved in a kettlebell. So you probably get best results that way.
It's interesting because like, I'm doing the same exercises just with a different device, and it's like night and day. Although I did add back, because I don't do them, I don't do them with dumbbells because it freaks me out, but like the one where you have like you kind of do this
raises,
like tricep,
tricep raises.
I did bring that back because I like that one. It feels good.
I can't do it anymore because I can't get my arms that far behind my head.
Oh yeah,
it's real painful.
I have a lot of arm, so it's easy. And then the other one, and then that like in doing raises the other way. Although those are hard, so I do that. But anyway, that's my.
I do think it's like I think kettlebell is such an amazing versatile piece of equipment.
It is,
so,
and actually,
if it's what's working for you.
I think my body responds better to my body responds really well to like body weight stuff. And
like isometric
even when I was using
stuff?
like if I use the gorilla bow, for instance, and I don't gain size, but like I will get shredded in like a week or two because it's just it's a lot. It's moving a lot of the things around.
But sometimes your body is just built for that.
It is, yeah.
I remember like it's been 3 or 4 months ago, probably. I was talking to Chris, Horror Show, and he was talking about like doing Omni-Man for cosplay wrestling.
Oh, sure.
And he normally is training like more powerlifting style, like weight event style. So when you're doing that, you're using heavy weight, low repetition, more like explosive muscle groups.
Yeah.
And when he has to do Omni-Man, he has to cut like 20, 25 pounds, not to fit in the suit, but to look good in the suit.
Right.
And we were talking about that, and I was like, I remember when I could do that in like 2-3 weeks to make weight for things. And I was like, I can't do that at all. Although I did cut a bunch of weight in a couple months, not so long ago. But he's older than me. I had no idea because that dude looks ageless. He
does look ageless. Wow.
He is, that is a handsome man. But he's like to switch like that. It takes him weeks to recover just from altering everything he's doing. So I can't imagine. Like it's and have you ever? So you do like band resistance stuff too?
So when I started last year. When I started, I bought a gorilla bow and I followed their program. It comes with a 8-week thing, and you sort of build up and you do different exercises to kind of get used to it and that kind of thing. And it worked really well. And so what I would do is like once I hit week 8, I would gradually add resistance, but I would do weeks 5 through 8 on repeat because 1 through 4 were it was too easy and it was not the mix I wanted, but like 5 through 8 tended to work. And it worked really well for me. Like I gained some weight, I was like slowly building muscle, but it was really good for balance because it was like, for me, it's a weird, hard thing to learn. Like, okay, what do I do and how do I stack? And like, so like, it was a good full body, like everything's kind of getting worked at the same time. And I really liked that. And then like late summer, I started going to the gym because I was kind of like, I had plateaued in a way with like gains. Like, it was just like, I'm not gonna, because I was, doing like the bench, like the gorilla level version of the bench. Like I was I couldn't put more bands on it, and so, and it was easy. It was easy,
But at that point, then it's about repetition.
Yeah, and so I started going to the gym, and it helped get more. I was gaining more. I was getting bigger, which felt good. But I hate it, and like literally like I haven't gone to the gym. I guess I'll have a membership. The gym is like 3 blocks, and I haven't gone since it got cold because I was like, I don't want to walk there in other pants and then have to change the shorts in the gym. That's like my level of like laziness when it comes to it, because I'm like, I have gym at home. So, there are things that I miss.
We've got gym at home.
Because I'm a pull guy. I like pull, but I hate push. Like I do not like the fucking like pre-core machine where you're sitting and you're like, that is, I hate it more than anything. But like anything where I'm pulling, I like. Although I do like one of the things that's actually been
pull is like long muscle.
It's like I'm doing a lot.
Push is like that explosive.
And
push is more explosive muscle group.
I'm not built for push. I don't like it. I do the one I do like is I do like the flies. I that feels good, and I've got like that Kofi Kingston chest. So like it helps with the
I love the cross cable. I love that machine.
It helps. So but and I like cables and stuff. So it's kind of like. And so when I stopped going to the gym proper, I started using dumbbells. Like in my building, there's like a cable-ish machine. It's like an all-in-one weird ass fucking thing. And it doesn't do a lot of things well, but like it does let me do a few things. Cause like I really like I don't know how much they do, but like I like cable pulls for my abs, like where you're like kneeling on the floor and you have like the thing and you're just kind of bending down like that. Like I can do those for like 10 minutes. It just feels good, but I don't think they do much, because like I was like, my abs are slipping a little bit, and then I started doing like crunches again on my couch, and I'm like, oh, there they are.
There's a machine. It was not a machine. It's like God, I can't remember what it's called now. It's like a seat with like the curve that you would use like when you do the leg extensions. Well, we would get in it and you lean over and you grab and hold to your chest a plate, and then you bend down as far as you can go, and then you come back up. I miss doing that. It was so good for your back and your abs. And then you would also do it where you come up and then twist, which would be good for your obliques. But yeah, one thing I would say is if you're looking, I actually had this conversation with my doctor like a couple weeks ago, because I was complaining about doing more exercise and not seeing any weight loss, especially with one of my meds being something you can't get right now, which is fucking another issue.
I hate that shit.
Well, and that everyone started prescribing it for weight loss. I take it for diabetes, and now people are suing the company that makes it because they found out like, oh, one of the ways you lose weight is it makes you fucking sick to your stomach. Like not like throw up sick, it just wrecks your insides. But the problem is it generally only does that like for the first month. Once you get over the first month, it's like, okay, well, the moment Cassandra and I both got off of it, we found out, oh, it wrecks your stomach for the month after too.
Oh no!
So it's been super fun. Yeah. So hopefully, eventually, I'll go back on it. But I was pissed because I put on some weight and I was like, I'm exercising more than I have in a really long time. It feels pretty good and everything, but like I'm plateaued again, but on a higher weight. And one thing that they said was like, you got to remember that the exercise is great, but the weight issue has more to do with the calorie and the substance of what you're intaking.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm aware of, you know, but I think if you're trying to put on weight, one thing that like my freshman year of college, where they were like, oh, 230, I think it was 230, but at that point they were like, that's great. You're about 50 pounds too light. And they high carbohydrate intake, you know, and doing the exercises you're talking about doing, and doing heavier weight, I was able to like put on mass like crazy. Like when I went home for winter break, the people were like, "Are you taking steroids?" Because I got so much bigger. And some of that's your age too. But yeah, I mean, I was eating potatoes like they're going out of fucking style. And it really did make a huge difference. The other thing I would say is one thing they made us do in college when I was training to do heptathlon indoor to lose some weight was supersets. So they'd lay out all your dumbbells in a row and everything, and you would literally go as hard as you could go for a minute. Then you take a minute off, and then you go again. And we did that a little bit in football as well, where you would have a partner, and they would have a timer in the weight room, and then a horn would go off. So you'd be like on the bench with like 225, and they would say, you know, you have to rep for a minute. And you would get done, and people would throw up because you get so disoriented, like going as hard as you can on squats and everything else. And you know, and you're just going through this circuit of lifting, and it's good. I mean, as far as like for seeing results, but it's rough. Like, I mean, something to think about, because you could probably do that with isometrics and, you know, any type of resistance bands, as well as your weights that you have in your home. How the fuck did we get on this subject?
I stretched and inadvertently flexed, and you were like, "Sir."
Hey man, you've been killing it on your body transformation. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah, but I've always been So
I'm a
that's where like I know, like I'm aware, but I just won't.
I was a good eater until it was like, oh, I don't have to get weighed anymore every 7 days. I don't have to eat at a table where they're checking everything I put in my body. I'm not doing those sports anymore. I don't have to worry about like if I want to go out on a Tuesday night, and this was like back in the day, and drink a case of beer, that I'm also going to have to go out the next morning, and I'm going to have to, you know, get rid of all that water weight. I'm going to sit in a sauna, went on a bicycle, wearing trash bags. So, you know, to get it out. So yeah, once I started doing that, I was like, this is the life. Why the fuck did I ever do anything?
Why was I ever like, for sure.
Yeah, why did I let people tell me how much to weigh? What are we doing with my life? Pizza's good. Bacon's good. Beer, even bad beer, is good.
I'm a bad eater. But I was talking to a guy, and he was saying, because he had brought up Seattle always gets talked about for like salmon and, you know, that kind of stuff food wise, but like what it is teriyaki dough. Like it is the best place in the US to get teriyaki, and it's not even close. Like it's everywhere. It's great and it's cheap as fuck. It's so, and I was telling him, I was like, when I started working out, I was like, everyone's like, oh, just eat chicken and rice. I'm like, I cannot do that. I was like, but I bet if I lived in Seattle, I could do it. Like if I just had easy, delicious cherry. So he was like, oh, we should just do that at home. And I was like, maybe. I'm a variety person though. I can't eat the same thing over and over again. Like I can't do it. I can't.
I mean, just get your carbs and.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like rice is great. Rice is great. I've since I am not avoiding gluten anymore. Egg noodles. God, I could eat just a bowl of egg noodles with some butter and some Parmesan cheese like every night.
Oh yeah.
I just fucking love
a pasta. Love a pasta. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get like a rice cooker or something and try it because I like it's easy and it's warm. My building has like a grill on the top, the rooftop. So I'm like, I can just grill like a lot and freeze it.
And legumes. Yeah. Legumes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, also like I could eat an avocado every fucking day too.
Avocado's tasty.
Just cut up an avocado. Yeah, cut up avocado. Just put some seasonings on it. Maybe a little bit of hot sauce. I
like an amount of avocado. I don't. Noodles are good. Love noodles.
Noodles are great. I love any carbohydrate. I love bread. I love lamb.
Bread's delicious.
So
I don't eat enough bread. I don't eat a lot of bread, and I love it. Like just bread with bread and butter. Just bread plus butter. Yeah. Delicious. Perfect.
You know what's frighteningly sad that I also miss a great deal. Like, so that was one thing when I was trying to put on weight was I would literally just eat a half of loaf of bread with butter.
Sure.
Yeah. I would just sit there and I would just wad up white bread and be like,
it's delicious.
Destroy it. Like you would eat popcorn, I would eat a thing of white bread and butter.
Bread. Yeah.
Or white bread and peanut butter too.
Oh yeah, peanut butter. Yeah, one of my favorite. Like I love peanut butter. I am a Jif person.
I don't like peanut butter as much, but
I love peanut butter.
As we well know, I'm not the biggest peanut butter fan. But when I was trying to put on weight, I would go through peanut butter like crazy.
I love it. Like my favorite, like an easy, comfort, cheap like meal is like peanut butter sandwich, but then you make it like a grilled cheese, like you butter the outside, and then you like delicious. Absolutely fucking killed it every time. Love that.
Last year I discovered pudding.
You discovered pudding.
Yeah. Pudding. Either like spicing up some peanut butter with like hot sauce, or just using like a Thai peanut sauce and a spicy jelly on hamburgers.
That sounds delicious.
Oh God, it's so good. That sounds
delicious. Yeah.
It's now I'm hungry as fuck. All right. So I was looking at I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
I was looking at the you were talking earlier about like basically making something your own. I'm gonna make this bigger. Make it big.
Make big.
Okay, so when we go down here to the adept moves. So one thing I really like, and you've done this some in the passing games that we've played together, is don't be afraid to take these and tweak them to make them your own.
Oh, sure,
like,
totally.
I love when someone's like, oh, my magic missile is this. Like my niece, last time we played, which has got to be like 5 years ago, back before she became super goth. Like when she had magic missile, she was like, oh, my magic missile they're a little swarm of butterfly. And they track you down. And I was like, oh God, that's cool, pretty, and frightening. You know? So like, I love the idea of like, taking things like, the brain scan or fury like that, or beast charmer, these things and like kind of tweaking them to make them your own. Or remembering that like, oh, well, at some point, I can't remember Star Wars. We always talk about it. It's like, I want to take something from like a different class.
Oh, sure.
I want to be able to go up to not ace, but Like not bounty hunter, not consular. But like Fringer, I guess would work. But something that like works more with like your idea or guardian, like your idea of who you are.
Totally.
Like Jedi reflexes, or leave no one behind, or defender.
Yeah, I like that.
Also, I love the idea of like having that kind of, saying like you're talking about the character using the staff. Also saying like your weapon could be anything. Like the first thing that popped in my head was like a wooden practice sword. But like the wood is so old and it's space wood that it's basically indestructible.
Yeah.
How do you like my space wood?
How do you like my
so
space
I mean, don't be afraid to like change stuff up to fit your needs. I will always tell folks, like when they ask about like when we play games together, one of my favorite things you've ever done, taking that kind of idea, is when you played F Train and your power was to make trains appear, subway trains appear.
I miss F Train.
It sounds so stupid, but when you realize it in a combat situation, was, oh shit, that's OP as fuck. Like, you're constantly like hitting people with manifested fucking subway trains.
I remember your face the first time. I was like, yeah, I hit him with a train. You were like, I was like, yeah.
I was like, what? You're like, no, that's my power. I can literally just manifest subway train.
Yeah. Such a stupid power, and then like the way that it built over that game, because you were like, wait, are there like, where does he get these trains from? And I'm like, they're trains. And he's like, so there's like people on the trains, and I'm like, yeah.
That became one of my favorite things. The whole game was like just the bystanders on the train.
The bystanders on the train. There's this whole like, old train graveyard museum, like the mid Nebraska or something.
I honestly sometime want to go back to those characters, because I thoroughly enjoyed those characters so much. It was such a bizarre group, because the tone was so all over the place with those villains.
It was very all over the place.
Yeah, and then Colin playing just one of the creepiest human beings ever.
Absolute creepiest. I hit him with a train.
It was so good. Yeah, you did hit him with a train at the end, because you were like, stop creeping on the doll lady, please.
God, that was a really fun game. That was very fun. We did that for an extra life, didn't we? We did. I still fondly like think about the like 5-minute back and forth we had about like civic policy in the middle. You don't have the votes. You don't have... So stupid. So good. So stupid.
Sometimes I'm like, do I enjoy the actual game as much as I enjoy the digressions that occur during the games? And what I've realized is I love both. I do thoroughly love like getting to play this kind of weird game of improv, where I have sometimes meticulously over prepared, and watching that house of cards get fucking completely destroyed. But out of the destruction, a new house of cards is built on the remains. But I also thoroughly love when it just becomes digression theater, and it just goes in the weirdest, most fun places. It really is. It really is a highlight of my entire life as an adult, is watching like people's imagination just like run wild. It's just it's a gift to be able to do that. I don't know if I told you this or not, so I'm just going to say it right now. For birthdays this year, I'm giving everyone a game of their choice. You choose the game, and you choose the crew, and then we collaborate on the date, and then I will run your one shot.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, so far the only one that's been picked is Doug. Doug is going to be the guinea pig for our PBTA hack of mountain monsters.
Hell yeah!
So
Nice.
on this very channel, we've made the very bones of a mountain monsters PBTA game, and I think it's going to be quite good. But yeah, James and I were talking about this yesterday. I was like, well, do you know what you want to do for that? And he's like, I've had ideas, but I don't know. He's like, part of me wants us to do like a very old school style D&D game. And part of me's like, no, I don't want to do that. He's like, because part of me realizes like, in some ways, I think what you ran for Chris's charity thing might be what you think of as an old school D&D game. And that is not what I meant. And well, Expedition of the Barrier Peaks is a old school D&D module, but I think he means like a White Plume Mountain or something like that,
like a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, like one of those old modules. Which it's either the next one or the current book that Wizards is putting out is another compilation. It's got White Plume Mountain and
it's pretty fun. I have a game I play with a group of folks I know from online. They mostly live around Indiana, whatever. But they we played one of those with one of those ones using the new map feature on D&D Beyond with one of the people, like one of the community managers there, and it was great. Like it's super fun. Yeah, and the maps thing is cool. Like it's really nice in that. I mean, it still has ways to go, but like it's very straightforward, but it integrates really well. And like because sometimes when like I play games in Roll20 and like Tailspire, and it's like too much. It's like I'm like I don't know how to. I don't want to be moving a camera as a player, and like so it's very.
If I want to do that, I'll play a video game.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. It's and it integrates with your character, your character sheet and stuff. It's super fun. But that the way that one we played, I can't remember. It has a long name that no one can pronounce correctly. But it's
Caverns
it's fun. And it's great. That's probably
Lost Caverns of SoCon. I can't say it right. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
Great old school. Yeah, it's a great old school module.
It translates well. It's really fun.
I think that's also in that. I think that's also in that new book as a remake or not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that one is from it's from the new book for sure, and it's very fun. Yeah.
So like when we were doing the D&D Next playtest, when we were moving from 4th to 5th edition, Zach was doing a lot of he was running all the time, and he ran for Kevin's birthday. He ran a 1-day White Plume Mountain, and it was awesome. It's actually what made me excited for 5th edition was playing him running like a speed run of White Plume Mountain. So those old modules, there's something about like they're short, like sometimes they're like 30 pages, and it's like, okay, well, I can't remember if it's Keep on the Borderlands or it's Into the Unknown or one of them. Like the NPCs don't even have names; they're just stat blocks. It's like, here's the baker, here's a stat block. Like, do what you fucking want. In fact, I know it's like Keep on the Borderlands because.
Yeah, this one has very few, if any, NPCs. It's like you start and you're like you're at this cave and you're exploring it for reasons and have fun, and it's like cool. Dope. But it's fun.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, although 4E is fun as fuck. I played that with that group.
I love 4E.
The first game I played with them, we played 4E, and none of us had played 4E before. Maybe like the guy who ran it, maybe had played it. And there's a very janky character builder on, like you download and but like
that used to be the actual Wizards. So there is have you ever heard of Gamma World?
Gamma World, did you say?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that before, but I don't know anything about it. Like
So
that sounds.
Gamma World was TSR's like sci-fi post-apocalyptic D&D sister, and then WotC owns it now. So they did a 4th edition of Gamma. Well, it's like 7th edition for Gamma World, but like they did it in 4E style. But Gamma World is like has a lot of like Fallout. I think has some DNA of Gamma World in it. Gamma World, but like that edition of Gamma World wasn't like nuclear war. It was like the Hadron Collider blew up, and all of these multiverses like smushed into each other. So you've got like militant chicken men. You know, you've got like all these different like weird shit going on. You can be like a person, a group of sentient flies is what your character. But it's played with cards as well. Like, 4th edition has a lot of cards involved. But like you can get random mutations constantly, and you can like have a weapon. Like I might take a stop sign and sharpen the edges, and that might be my club, my version of an axe. But you can have cards where you could add shit to your axe, like disposable buffs, basically. Gamma World's wild. It's really, really good. It's a game I would love to. I was going to do it for Extra Life 1 year as like the like World Murder Hobo Championships, and we were going to run it in Gamma World. And also there was I think it was 4th edition had a setting. I think they've updated it to 5th edition called X-Crawl that has some similar vibes. And X-Crawl is like if you mix D&D in a modern setting with the Running Man movie. Like you're a group of adventurers on a game show. So that follows you into like these dungeons that they stock with monsters and bad guys. So so you have like sponsorships and shit like that. You know, like you can wear stuff on your armor. Yeah. Smash TV is another. Yeah, those types of things. I would love to do like a Gamma World like that, especially because like I love Fallout lore, but I'm very unfamiliar with the games. So I think
the thing about Fallout, like for me, is that like I think the lore is interesting. I think the game, like the games are. It's so unpleasant to play. It is such an unpleasant game to like. For me, I hate it. Like when you guys were talking about 76, I was like, yeah, 76 is free, whatever, And then like I started playing it, and I was like, I hate playing this. Like I wish it was a different. Like it feels to me, it feels very clunky, and I just don't enjoy the gameplay. Like I like the world, I like the vibe, I like the character creators good, I like all, but like playing it, I'm just like, and I think it's partly because I'm a very like I have been brought up, like I've been playing Destiny for like almost 10 years now, and like and part of the reason I stay with it is because it feels so good. That haptic or whatever is like, it's very smooth, it's very glidey, it's very like, and there's another free to play game called Warframe that I love because it's like very similar vibes. Like it's very floaty, you kind of spin around, and like for me, Fallout feels very janky and very like hard edged, like haptically, and like that for me is challenging. Like I'm just like, I don't want to play this because it doesn't feel good. that's just me.
For me, I think for me, what I've realized with Fallout 76, the couple times I've been lucky enough to play it, is I don't have a huge interest in going around the wasteland and doing a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm super excited to build. I'm super excited to do like it was like, so Doug and I were playing World of Warcraft for a while, and I'm not a huge WoW person, but I loved playing that with him because I was like, oh, my character just wants to skin everything we kill because I'm a small business owner and I need to make leather goods to sell to keep my small business alive. So like when I look at through the idea of like a merchant-esque thing, it makes me really kind of, I don't know, it gets me immersed in it more, and then I don't mind the other parts of it so much. Like I want to do another Minecraft thing where we do more kind of a vibe similar to like Hermitcraft, where it's like, oh, like you can sell this thing. No one, other people can get it, but you can sell this item. Like, but only you can sell it. Like there's other like Minecraft variations where like you have so much points or whatever, and you can buy parts of land, and like this is my land. So, and like you basically are kind of nation building these small things. I like that. Like I really was excited about Enshrouded. My computer just won't run it because it's too big. But that's a game too where it's like, oh, you're doing a bunch of exploring, and you're doing the other thing you're doing is you're building this place, and then NPCs come to it to live and do stuff, trade. I love that type of stuff, and I think I would love that as well, Draz. I would absolutely adore that. I kind of like that. I think that's why 76 has such an appeal to me. So I think I'm less, and I'm self-admittedly fucking terrible at FPS style games. So like when you talk about like smoothness and all that, I just like that's a concept completely lost on me.
Sure.
Like I love the jankiness of like Project Zomboid, where the game actively hates you. It's like, oh, have you relaxed for a second? Well, guess what, motherfucker? Now you're dead. So you just got bit, and that means all that progression you've had is all gone.
Oh, I can't. Nope. There is like nothing that will make me stop playing a game faster than some shit like that. Like the games where like if you like that are hard, and then if you fuck up, you have like FromSoft games. I cannot like. I'm like, I just spent 20 minutes and I lost, and that's hard. And it's like now I have to like walk across fucking I have to do all this combat again to even get like eat shit. Like let me start right where I picked up and like start again. Like if you don't do that, I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm sorry.
I like games. Yeah, you're not a fan of roguelikes. I like games like Zomboid where it's like, oh, my guy dies, and then I can leave all my shit here as I'm about to like turn, and then my next guy can find it and start from there. But I like those. I like games like I could not play 76 by myself. Like that's a game I need other people. Like I love V Rising, but when I play V Rising by myself, I get just kind of like bored.
Sure. Yeah.
But if I play with even one other person, I'm like, we should never stop playing this. It's the same with Minecraft. Right. Like I'll play Minecraft by myself, but all I'm doing is just resource gathering.
Yeah, it feels a little grindy, right?
Like which I don't mind the grind. It's the same thing with Zomboid. I don't mind the grind, but like I want to go adventure. And when I want to go adventure, I want to go adventure with what the hell, Valheim. Same thing. Like I really love Valheim, but I like it with other people. I like I almost have the autistic mindset at that point too. It's like I want to play with other people, but I want to go over here away from you. I just like the fact you're here. I want to go over here away from you and build what I want to build. I'm just glad you're here. Knowing you're here is soothing. I don't actually need to interact with you because I don't want to do any of the quest stuff. I just want to build. I like that type of stuff. So that's why when like 76, is very appealing to me. I'm super excited to play it more. Doug and I were talking about this yesterday. I want to get back to doing some Valheim stuff. And, we've been doing every first Friday of the month. We've started doing V Rising, the Fang Gang. Because fucking playing as a vampire is super awesome. I love being the scourge of all things, but it's better to be the scourge of all things in a posse of other scourges.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Yes. And now apparently we're getting some Castlevania shit in that game, and we're getting Dracula, and I'm super pumped about it.
Nice.
Yes, I am. I'm getting thirsty to go back to West Virginia. But yeah, hey, we ran the gambit of cool stuff today, Warrior.
We did, as we're wont to do.
Yes.
But man, 4E. I don't know. Maybe I'll choose a 4E game. It's fun.
I have the. So I don't. Let me look and see if I have Gamma World in my Dropbox. 4E Gamma World.
It's super fun.
Gamma World is to Gamma 4E D&D, which I ran for like 5 years with like 3 different groups running simultaneously in the same world, was super fun. But Gamma World, I think, takes the 4E game to its logical, actual what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. It's like it's the thing, because like having started with 5E feels like it's holding back to me a lot of times. Like it feels very like concerned with everything being like not powerful, whereas like 4 is like I played a barbarian. I actually played Ferdinand, and he is terrifying. Barbarians are.
I do have it.
Terrifying.
I have all the Gamma World stuff in a. I'm trying to figure out where it is in there, but let's see if we can find it.
Yeah. That shit is fun.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. Like it's just it's a completely wild game, and I would love to get to maybe sit around a table and play it, because with the cards, I think it makes it easier.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
But is the only thing too is it's a very like 4E tactical game. It's you're on a grid. But the cool thing as well about that version of it, where they were like, oh, you can take 4E monsters and just tweak them just a little bit, and they're Gamma World monsters.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing about 4E was like we were playing it, and we played it in, I think we did it in Tailspire actually, and it was like, you cannot play this without a map. Like you cannot theater of the mind 4E.
You can, but man, is it difficult, because everything is.
It's not meant for that.
No, clearly, not at all.
Clearly, and so like, it which is fun in its own way, because it's just like, but god damn,
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like you can see where they were trying something very different, and people just were not having it.
They were just, I don't know. Like for me, it was very fun because it's like, do you want to do like cool shit every time? And I'm like, yeah.
Do you want to be?
I do want
to be
cool shit.
A cool guy? Do you want to be a cool guy? I think for me, 4E was very much like D&D turned into God. What was that game? There was a game that White Wolf put out. Oh God, what was it? Where you were kind of like ancient superheroes, basically. I keep want to say Exemplar, but I don't think that was it. There's a name. I think it was White Wolf put it out. It had a lot of acclaim when it came out, which is very different than what.
I think I know. I think I might have even kind of played that. I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Yeah, it started with an
familiar.
E. I just.
Yeah.
God, I'm looking. RPG, because I know when I see the name that start with an E. Not video games. I gotta put TT RPGs. Of course, it won't just give me a list, because that would be too easy.
Why would it do that? That wouldn't be any fun at all.
I didn't even. I merged. Now we're just bullshitting. I don't see it. It's dumb. Have you played like Cult?
No.
Exalted. Yes, Exalted. It's called. I didn't know. I didn't know if you played it with the old channel we were on. I can't remember what it's called now. Was it TTRPG Theater?
Oh yeah. I didn't ever play Cult.
Okay.
Like
that's another one I've always wanted to play.
It seemed interesting, and it felt also not my vibe. And so it was always one of those ones where I was like, I don't know, like maybe. But yeah, I could see it. It looked interesting for sure. It was just kind of that like, I don't know if this is my vibe.
Because I've had a desire to play Call of Cthulhu, either modern Call of Cthulhu or even Delta Green as well.
Sure.
Especially because I've started working my way through a actual play Delta Green podcast called Get in the Trunk. It's great. It's so fun because it's really weird. It's kind of a little bit of a you have to be ready for the hard changes in tone because everyone playing it's very funny and they're very good. But that game is dark as fuck and it's very real as far as like you're working for a clandestine group within the government.
Sure.
And it's kind of dark. People die. I mean, like Call of Cthulhu, you're probably going to die or go crazy. People don't retire. So yeah, it's part of me is like, I kind of want to do that, but kind of don't. I don't know. It's all it's kind of all over the place. I sent you my Gamma World link.
I know I've got it.
There's cool. A lot of stuff out there that James and I were talking yesterday, I think, about like just how the wild series of games that we would want to be able to play or run if we had more time or just more energy. Or if other people were more interested in just like running occasionally. But it's just, it is what it is. Like I really would love to run Numenera. I would love to play in a Numenera style game, either with the 5e adaptation or with the Cypher rules. But part of me is also like, do I really want to sit and learn a new game? And I know somewhere Zach's ears are fucking burning. I know it's not overly difficult. I just don't.
Yeah, we were like very light aside that group I was talking about that I've been playing with. That we're playing a level 20 game right now, which is blast. And but we run like 8 to 12 session like mini arcs, and then we swap to something else.
Yeah.
And so we might play Numenera next. And I'm kind of
Numenera has a cool vibe. It's so cool. But the rule book is
it's a lot,
500 pages.
It's a lot. It's not.
So next time we do charity stream, I have 3 ideas. Either I want to speed run D&D all day, so start at first level in the long game at 20th.
Oh yeah.
And that'd be fun. I'd also be interested in doing Birthright because I have a Birthright 5e adaptation, and Birthright's a D&D setting I have a great affinity for because it's like, you go on an adventure once a year, and then the rest of the year your players are running a kingdom, and they all have different like high up jobs. Somebody's king, you vote on it at the beginning. Someone runs the church. Someone's like head of one of the guilds. We played it in college, and I fucking loved it because one of my friends and I were guild heads of the Thieves Guild, and we would constantly refer to ourselves as legitimate businessmen. We were basically D&D mafia, and I fucking loved it because we also did real bad Italian accents and
real bad Italian accents.
The bad Italian accents.
I don't know anything about bad Italian.
You talk to that guy about that guy. Or I have 2 books that I bought that I desperately want to use, and they're system agnostic. Well, I think they're 5e actually. This is the first one.
Okay, that seems cool. Yeah, that's dope.
I like this one a lot, but not as much as this one.
Oh shit! Yeah, Oz would be dope.
I really want to do this, and I kind of want to do it in the. I know we talked about doing it before Die came out, of doing like, we're gonna stat up each other and play.
Sure. I haven't read through it yet, but I have the Die book.
So do I. I think like 5 of us got in on that.
Yeah.
Like a bunch.
They made it
because we all love the comic, and the book was just like a beautiful like addition to that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's the same thing when there's a Nocturnals, like the RPG connects to another system. I don't know what the system is, but I bought the book when it came out because it's just full of Dan Burton Nocturnals art and as well as like more lore. And I love Nocturnals.
Yeah.
So
I
was like, oh, I got to buy this because this is just beautiful.
Yeah. New systems are always interesting because it's sort of this like, it's always the like, it feels very intimidating, but then sometimes it's also like how, like, because like I still don't feel like I know how to play Tales from the Loop. Like, I played it a lot of times, but I'm like, I don't know that, like, I mean, I understand how to roll the dice, but I'm like, I don't know if I know how to play this, you know? So it's like, but I think when you do get into something like Numenera and that kind of thing, like it's a
crunchier game.
Yeah, it's a crunchier game.
Yeah, Numenera is far crunchier. The other thing why I think Tales from the Loop though is fun, by the way, how Colin runs it is because Colin takes all the bells and whistles off the game, and he just like is just running the game. He runs a purely rule of cool game, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is fucking. It's awesome. I've had a blast every time. Yeah, but you know, it's like he doesn't give a shit about. Like he is the perfect DM to run, our perfect person running a game who looks at a game and says, if the rules get in the way of fun, then the rules don't matter, and that's awesome. I wish I was a little bit better about that. It's also very fun to play it like once a year because he will forget things like the character has a gun. He'll be like, "Oh shit, you have a gun!" I'm like, "Yeah, gun." And I
forget things month to month. So yeah, I would try.
I have a gun and a truck. Like, what's your character about? I have a gun and a truck.
This is my character, gun and truck. Yeah, there's so many games. Like I'd like to run Monster Hearts again. I would like to run We Deal in Lead, which is a game that's very heavily inspired by the Dark Tower books by Stephen King. You know, and it's relatively easy system wise. You know, what was the mini game I got that I was going to run and no one was into it as much as I was. Oh, Cairn.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's the rule book.
Yeah.
2 books.
Rules Light can be fun too. What was the game we were playing when we were? I don't even remember the system. It was very Rules Light, and we were like the band, and we were playing at like the old folks' home, and they turned into zombies. Like this last.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
That was a 2-page game.
Yeah, that was fun.
God, it was.
I don't remember what it's called.
It's just a 2-page thing. Like literally on prep school, we go, oh, let's find a 2-page zombie game, and we just Googled it.
It worked. It was fun.
Popped up first.
I think it was bananas.
Yeah.
I found it's
a little more on the rails. If you play it, it would
sure. It would have to be more on the rails than we were. But yeah, I have to send you this. I have to send you this Instagram thing I found that was like, I was like, this is my character. This is Cab Toyota. I thought this is him.
Worrier, I've harassed you for 2 hours plus today.
That's true.
Let's where can people find you?
You can find me on various places online at Worrier MN. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Worrier. Otherwise, I'm here a lot of Mondays now. Like I've got Down and Outlands is back. Star Wars is happening tomorrow. Doing Chaos Scar. We moved out to the 29th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Question mark. Yeah. So yeah, Mondays. If you want to see the face, check out World United on Mondays because that's where you can see.
I'm your special Monday boy. I'm your good Monday boy.
Good Monday boy. Yeah.
Yes. Worrier is dead on. It is this week. It is a Star Wars. It is our first. I think I just called it the Hidden Path. I think is what we're going to call it, which was like a Star Wars reference. Hidden Path. We're going to switch every other month. 1 month is going to be Scum and Villainy, and the next month will be Hidden Path. So, and then we can also sometimes have them interact, which I think could be cool. And then gotta get my calendar back out. You will see me on the 25th. It's formerly known as Spoopy Boys. We are talking about Ghost Watch. It's very good. It was a BBC television special that the populace did not realize it was fictional, and they lost their fucking minds because one of the presenters, it was a famous news figure on the BBC. So it was basically their. Oh, it was either late 80s, early 90s.
Interesting. Okay.
It's a very fun watch.
So kind of like less Mass Panic, but kind of War of the Worlds vibes. Then where people thought it was real.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. People freaked out, called the BBC, and the BBC was like, no. I think they've only shown it. I think they've only shown it twice.
I bet
it's on Shudder right now. It's a solid watch. It's a very found footage-esque thing, but very produced because it's a TV show.
I love found footage shit. Like
Doug does too.
If
Doug is a fan footage.
If Science didn't have such a stupid ending, it would be one of my favorite movies.
If you want to watch it and then we'll come on Thursday and talk about it, I think Doug might come on and talk about it too. And then last night I watched Late Night with the Devil, which also just popped up on Shudder. And fuck me,
talk show?
It was in theaters and got a lot of buzz. I kind of can't remember the main actors, like Daniel Dumushain or something. He was Polka Dot Man in James Gunn's
Suicide Squad. Yeah, that was a good Suicide Squad.
He writes a comic and he does a bunch of stuff. He's a horror guy. It is literally about this footage from a television late night program that had been lost, where they accidentally they're doing like a young girl who's possessed and on the show, and shit goes awry. So you get to see like the actual footage from the talk show, but then interspersed with all the shit going on behind the scenes. Like, and it's like shot. There's a lot of stuff shot in black and white. So it's like all this like footage interspliced. And the first 20 minutes is like, here's the backstory of like, and it comes off like it's backstory being done by Inside Edition in the like mid 90s. So it's like stays in vibe the whole movie.
Love that.
In fact, I think that the guy who plays the main character has done some interviews in character as like late 70s, early 80s talk show host, and it's very good. It and Ghost Watch are a perfect double feature. They because the themes, the feels are very similar. One is just like was produced to basically be fake, and one is saying, hey, there's a fake thing, but is it fake? And the last they're both very slow burns, and when they hit their roaring fire, both of them, you go, oh fuck me. So like both of them, the last like 15 minutes are just bonkers, which is good. And both kind of dealing with ghosts and possession and stuff like that. Very good. Highly recommend it. We'll probably talk a little bit about both, but we're mainly talking about Ghost Watch. So if anyone watches it, wants to talk about it, it's on Shudder right now. I think it might be the only place you can watch it right now.
Maybe.
Like, be prepared. It's definitely of its time. But like one of the things that's interesting, as Doug pointed out, like they've got a man on the street, and it's one of the guys from Red Dwarf playing himself as an actor being in on this BBC project. And there's moments where he doesn't. There's moments where he doesn't realize the camera's rolling. You know, his character doesn't realize the camera's rolling, and he's saying some fucked up stuff about the people and the neighborhood. And then he's like, "Are we rolling?" And you're just like, "Oh fuck!" Because it's a live. It's like a live broadcast. Like in the thing, they cut to commercial. They don't show you the commercials, but they like it's like a talk show. You know, and Late Night with the Devil also cuts to commercial. And they show you those 70s style, like we'll be right back, like slides.
Yeah.
They're both really fun. I highly recommend both of them. I had fun with both of them.
That's cool.
And they're both like, if you're afraid of gore and stuff like that, I think Late Night with the Devil has a tiny bit of gore, like a very tiny bit. They're both like vibes. They're vibes.
I'm much more into vibes than gore, but yeah.
So I would tell folks, like, watch both of them and come hang out Thursday night for Spoopy Boys, formerly known as Spoopy Boys. And then Friday, Bad at Games. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe we'll go to West Virginia. Maybe we'll get into some Fallout business. Yeah, that'd be fun. If anyone's interested in going to West Virginia, let me know and we'll do that business. I know Doug bought Fallout as well, so we could play because I think it was like super cheap on. It was like under $8 on Steam.
Yeah, it's like $8 like everywhere because I looked at it. It's free with the PlayStation whatever plus, but it's like $8 there too. So it's weird that they don't have crossplay. That seems insane. Like that just feels like a poor choice.
Yeah,
I don't know. Seems weird.
Who knows? I have given up on trying to understand the gaming industry.
It feels like I think there's like it feels like there's a lot of like old thinking, and maybe certain people in certain countries like have that old mentality where it's like, no, it has to be, and it's like, no, just like let people want to play with their friends, but it's like, I don't, you know, it's not the thing where it's like, you know, it's like the game system's like $700 now. Like, it's like, hey, I can't have like all of them. Sorry, like, you know.
That's why I don't do like consoles anymore.
I feel like there should just be everything and then Nintendo. And it's like because Nintendo's always going to do its own shit. And like, that's fine. And like you know, but like everything else it's basically the same thing. What's the difference? There's not much of a difference between a PlayStation and Xbox. So like short of like
there's just some there's exclusive
short of
that's it.
Short of those things that they make themselves, like if it's on both things, you should be able to play with each other. Like that's come on.
I don't disagree at all. I was listening to Mike Shea. I was trying to catch up on some Sly Flourish podcast or Sly Flourish stuff. Yeah, I mean, Cassandra plays more PlayStation 2 than anything but Steam games, just because we have Katamari on PlayStation 2. So she would rather do that. Yeah, that's basically it. But Mike Shea was talking about like I saw how far behind I am. Is he was talking about the Planescape box set that was coming out, and his thing was like the fact that Wizards wanted $80 or whatever for that box set, and then if you wanted the mortuary stuff for Sigil, you had to go online and pay them another $10 for this other information. And he was saying, like, I get it, they're trying new things, but for what you get in that box set, it should be no more than $50. And then, so then you want to give me, like 9,000 words, so like maybe 10 pages of material for like $10.
Yeah. Is
that material that wasn't good enough to get in the books, or is that something that like missed the deadline, whatever? He's like, I think, that's cool, but also it's online. So you're with your D&D Beyond account. So you're renting it. You don't own that.
Right.
You don't get to keep that. You're renting it. You're leasing it.
Right.
And he compared it to like video games. He said, the trend is to release games early that aren't done. And then they hit you with DLCs after that. Here's all the stuff you probably wanted, but you couldn't get.
Right.
That's why I have to give V-Rising props. V-Rising has DLC, but it's all aesthetics.
Sure.
Everything in their DLC is just, if you want special aesthetics, No actual content for play.
Yeah,
and I
like
love that because they have had DLC
like
for play, but it's you don't pay for it. Like they've had a couple DLC packs, but they're like adding like parts of the world, and they're free because you already pay for the game.
Yeah, I think if they're going to do that,
you want that other to pay for play, it's like the aesthetics.
Yeah, and if they're going to do that sort of like unfinished model thing, then like the game shouldn't cost $70. Sorry, like that's it's $30 or something, and then it's like cool, like I'll buy the DLC if I want. But like I just finished Dragon's Dogma 2, which is great, by the way. Highly recommend, and it's a full, complete ass game. You know, like I hope there's DLC for it. I hope they expand it more. It's really fun, but like it's a full game. I'm like, okay, I bought this game. It costs full price for a game, and it's a full game. But so many games, it's like, cool. So that was like 20 hours of story, and the rest is a live service. And like, it was also $70. Like, no, no, sorry.
That's why I think that's why independent games have really captured the hearts and minds of most people now. And when you were talking about Fallout 76, think about how fucking terrible the reviews were for that game. The game has gotten aged like a fine wine because they've continued to update it and do good things with it. And there's only one deal. I think there is only one paid DLC, but it's a huge DLC. Like it is a big DLC.
Yeah. Another great example is No Man's Sky. Same vibe. Like came out, everyone was like, "What the fuck?" And like that game is fully different game now. It's still like they had.
I love that game.
Shit all the time. It's so fun. It's so relaxing. It's just like this game is like, you know.
That's fair. That's fair, Shan. You can definitely come on and we can talk about that anytime you want. I would say, No Man's Sky is a game I wish my friends were more interested in playing because I love that game. But I also like just going around places and getting resources and building places. So
totally.
I mean, here's my only thing with that is like there's two sides of that coin. There's folks who are going to like it almost no matter what, and there was folks who are going to be pissed about it no matter what. Because I think that's just fandom. I was talking to James about this morning. I was talking to James about this. I was talking to James about this morning. I can't go in and read the Shudder comment section anymore. I used to read it just to be like, okay, is this movie going to be for me? But like, Toddrick, yes. Todd, I don't have to play your game, Todd. I can shut this shit off anytime I want. I can't do that because like people will review bomb it. I tried Satisfactory and I do not like it. Not my style of game. Too rigid for me. Too rigid. So, I Doug tried to get me to play it, and I was like, I don't think I like this. I'm sure. And just sorry, I'm a bad gamer. I do love building games. I love making stuff. I love I'm sorry. That's why I was so hurt by Enshrouded not working. I was like super stoked to build a town and have people show up and want to live in my town. That's why I want to play the fucking Lego Fortnite game.
Yeah,
because you build stuff and people show up and like, I want to live in your town. You're like, I guess. I want to have, sure. I want to build a society. It's so
we live in a society.
Stuff.
Fortnite, we live in a society.
Dab. All right, Worrier. I will see you tomorrow night. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out.
Sure.
Think about my heel turn idea.
I'll think about it.
I want to bring heel turn back, but it's going to be HEAL.
I'll think about it.
We're gonna heal our wrestling wounds together. We're going to talk about shit we all enjoy. We're gonna sneak in a I have a bad feeling about Boldly Going. because I really desperately want to talk about Deep Space Nine and the Clone Wars from the beginning. Those are the only 2 segments I can think of right now. I told Beard he should do a segment where he does Between Two Verns, but with no guests. But yeah,
sure, into it.
Yeah, and we should really do what we were doing for a little while in Heel Turn, which we stole from the loose ropes guys. Where we should do fake commercials with Dusty Rhodes.
We should do fake commercials with Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, the Butt of the Woods, baby. Yeah. Their old podcast, they had fake commercials. They had one for Stone Cold where he was talking about buying roses for ex-wives. It was fucking amazing. They also did one with their Dusty Rhodes impersonation.
I think it would not be on brand if there wasn't a Dusty Rhodes Endless Shrimp commercial.
Yes, I would like Matt to allow me to take the old footage of their gear stuff, the commercial he made that we used to show when I was on Dave's channel all the time. I think we've shown it on this channel a couple times, but I would like to take Matt's voiceover off and just do a Dusty Rhodes voiceover.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit like Southpaw. Yeah, and I still would like to do a fundraising stream for Andy Nowicki for Young Boy. I don't know if you were aware, one of his kids has been in the hospital.
Oh no!
I would like to do it using Worldwide Wrestling, and just do our own super card deal. Because I don't know if anyone's familiar with that game. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse game where everyone is aware that wrestling is a work. Everybody playing characters. And the game is a lot of the actual dice rolling is super give and take. You can give up control in the match to somebody else, and it's a lot of but the biggest part is cutting promos on each other, and the people who aren't actively playing in that match can be the commentary crew, and they can give bonuses. Yeah, it's a really, really fun game that I was lucky enough to make some stuff that got utilized in expansions. Because there for a while I made a lot of stuff for that game because we were playing it every other weekend. And our federation was Full House Wrestling, and our logo, was the Full House logo because it was run by somebody that was on Full House. I don't remember. Anyway, it was dumb as fuck, and we loved it.
Love it.
I'd like to do that, but we'll see what happens. I'm Minnesota goodbying so hard. I hope everyone has a good rest of your Sunday. I hope people can tune in tomorrow night for our force using Hidden Path game, which is the other half of our ongoing Monday Star Wars. And you're exactly right.
That's very
hell true. Yeah. And thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.